for tonight, starting with the Astros. What are your keys for the Astros to pick up a win here?
So for me, with the Astros, it starts with the pitching. And in winning baseball games in the playoffs, starts and ends with pitching. For me, Lance McCullers has to throw that curveball for a strike. That's his pitch. Those off-speed pitches, curveball, slider. And when I was talking to John Smoltz the other day, he said Lance McCullers once told him he could go out on the mound and throw his curveball for a strike without throwing it one time in the bullpen. That's how good a feel he has for it. Now, this is the World Series.
Yeah.
Feel comes a little differently because of your nerves and your emotions. So Lance McCullers tonight, look for that early. If Lance McCullers is throwing that curveball for a strike early, it could be a long night for Phillies batters. If not, it could be beneficial for the Phillies. But my first key is definitely Lance throwing strikes with that curveball.
All right. My key for the Astros is I think they need to get to Ranger Suarez early. They have jumped out to an early lead in the first two games. And if they can do that here, they can maybe take Suarez out of the game and silence these Phillies fans that we have seen are a huge factor in helping this Phillies team throughout the entire game. I think that's going to really help the Astros.
I like that, Alex. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of similar. If yours happens, mine might happen.
Okay, let's
go. Which is get to the Phillies bullpen early. The big bonus for the Astros was having Game 3 and Noah Syndergaard starting, and you knew it was going to be a bullpen game. No. The rainout delayed that. Now it's Game 3 with Ranger Suarez. You got to get to him early, get to that bullpen. He pitched earlier in this series, meaning he's out of his normal routine.
Yeah.
Throwing pitches in the World Series, despite normally throwing a midweek bullpen, is still a lot. And as usual, I caught up with John Smoltz, and we'll talk to him in just a few minutes, but I talked to him about that and what it feels like to, you're on your normal rest, but you threw pitches in the World Series. That's a bigger deal than people are thinking about. So keep an eye out on him. Is Ranger Suarez going to be as good as he was throughout the regular season? We will see. But if the Astros can get to the bullpen and get to him, then that benefit that they had in Game 3 will be right back, which was get to that bullpen, tax that bullpen early on in this 3 days in a row stretch.
All right, now let's switch over to the Phillies. What do they got to do to pick up this game? Game 3, their first home game of the World Series.
Yeah, a couple of things in my opinion.
Okay.
First and foremost, Ranger Suarez being Ranger Suarez. What we saw throughout the entire regular season, we hear Phillies, we think Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. Ranger Suarez was really good this year, and he is a good number 3. Now they've used him a little bit differently in this series. How will he be tonight in his World Series starting debut this year? We will see. I think it's really important for Ranger Suarez to go deep into the game. I know that's cliche, but for more reasons than that, the Phillies bullpen isn't deep by any means. Of anything, that's their biggest weakness. You need Suarez to go deep, get you at least 5 innings. Anything under that is going to tax that bullpen.
Not only go deep, I think he needs to silence the Astros bats early, because as I mentioned, as the Astros key, they have been swinging the bat early. They've been putting on the runs on the board early, and it has really helped them get out to that early lead. So it might kind of go both ways. It's either the bats are going to take care of Suarez or Suarez needs to completely silence the bat. But whichever one takes it, I think is going to be the key to the game.
I absolutely agree with you. And that is baseball.
Yeah.
And, it might sound cliche, but it is true.
What it is.
For me, on the offensive side for the Phillies, you have to get Lance's curveball up in the zone. Lance McCullers, curveball pitcher. He can throw that thing whenever he wants, but if you're swinging at all of them, you're just adding to his nasty stuff. Now, what I mean by get the curveball up, how do you do that? Because you can't force him to get it up. You can. Those pitches that he gets swing and miss stuff on all the time, that curveball down, that curveball darting out of the zone, if you're taking that pitch, it gives him no other option than to throw it in the zone, up in the zone. Those are the ones you can do damage to. But if you're swinging at the other ones, then it's going to be a long, long night. So Lance McCullers, get that curveball up, and you can do damage to those.